This week, we're back with a sports enthusiast currently on an MLB stadium tour, a model, founder of Golf With Me on OnlyFans TV, a very innovative and fun creator on social media, a great follow, Steph Mi.
This episode of One Star Recruits is brought to you by our partners at 500 Level. It's 500level.com for all the best gear in sports. Get yourself a Matthew Tkachuk Florida Panthers shirt, a James Harden onesie for your baby if you want him to be clutch. We got mystery shirts for $8. Everything on the site, 20% off with the code ONESTAR. That's the number one, STAR, 500level.com. Let's go.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. I'm DK, joined as always, my best friend of 25 years, Rip. We're back. We're back in this normal flow. It is May. We have our guest this week. We got a female. We've been getting asked for more females, and we always want more females. Big love and shout out to Steph Mi for coming on this weekend, Rip. Big sports week, huge sports week. We're getting fired up. We got the NBA playoffs in full swing. All the right cities are involved here. We have New York, Miami, Boston, Philly, Los Angeles, Golden State. The only teams that aren't NBA blue bloods are the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets. We'll talk about that on the back half, Rip. We have the Kentucky Derby on deck, a great sporting moment for most. Sounds like Steph has something planned at the Kentucky Derby. Are you a big Kentucky Derby guy, Rip?
I used to watch every year, and it's one of the best events to gamble on with the trifectas and exactas and all the horse racing nonsense. But yeah, it's fun, man. It's for me, it's a dart throw because I don't do a ton of research, but it's fun to drink those mint juleps and have some appetizers and watch the best like 120 seconds, of the day.
You would. I don't really give a shit about it. I never watch it. It's always kind of a run up to a playoff game in the NBA usually. But I'm not a big betting guy. It's not even close on my bucket list. Is this anywhere on your bucket list to go live to the Kentucky Derby? Could watch Steph Mi pull off a PR stunt, maybe some others, or did we knock out your entire bucket list in 2009 when we took you to Sun Devils versus Wisconsin Badgers in Madison? I think that was your dream come true.
Yeah, probably basketball, football, baseball are most of the things on my bucket list. I am interested in this stunt. I mean, you're coming up in the interview. She tells a great story about what she did at a Phillies game in November. But she's got a creative mind and bringing up her OnlyFans subscribers. She's got to get creative with it. So she's got something going at the Kentucky Derby this weekend. I'm bummed that she didn't tell us what it was, but she did break the news during the interview. You have any theories on what she's going to do, DK?
One theory that came to light this morning for me, I was thinking about it. I was pondering what it possibly can be. Possibly she knows Dylan Brooks, and they're going to announce the team that he wants to play for next year, since the Memphis Grizzlies said, hey, Dylan, you're done. And guess what? There's 60 days left until they even have to make that decision. That's how much they want this guy out of Memphis. Maybe they'll put the Dallas Mavericks. Dylan Brooks wants to go to Dallas, or maybe Dylan Brooks wants to go to the Sacramento Kings so they can play a little bit of defense. Maybe we'll get a Dylan Brooks announcement through Steph's PR. Is that pushing it, Rip? That's just a stupid idea, probably.
I think that's an insult to her creative genius, DK, bringing a D-level NBA star into the conversation. Just an absolute clown. I think she's going to come up with something better than that. I'm interested if we'll see it on SportsCenter or somewhere else. I mean, if it's going to go viral, let's see.
Yeah, get into that top 10. And yeah, sorry for bringing up Dylan Brooks. He is just the worst. And unfortunately, I'm knocking on wood right now. Unfortunately, that man has 3-and-D in a Phoenix Suns uniform written all over him. We'll save it for the second half, though. In the meantime, enjoy this interview with a great interview, a really fun interview. Steph Mi.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a mother, a model, an actress, the founder of Golf With Me on OFTV, the Yu Darvish of BJ's, and a woman who will never pay for a blue check mark from Elon Musk, even though she can easily afford it, Steph Mi. Thanks for hanging out with the One Star, Steph.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here. I love that. The Yu Darvish of BJ's. I should put that in my bio or something. I need to tweet that for sure. That's going to, yeah.
It's
stick
an
with me
all-time.
forever.
It's an all-time intro there. We're going to get into some more of your life and career in a minute, but we were told to ask you about some of your best PR stunts. You've been known to fly airplane banners over major events and stadiums to promote your OnlyFans and everything else you have going on. Can you kind of relay the story of that most memorable one, which I think might have been that Phillies game in November? And by the way, how much does something like that cost?
So I flew my banner. Yeah, I did a lot of research. People just think that I just hired some guy with a PJ and I just flew it over the stadium. And there's actually another girl that flew a banner. It was at Coachella. And I was like, why the hell would you, can I swear on here? Why the hell would you fly a banner over Coachella? Everyone's on drugs and they're looking up at the sky like, like that doesn't make any sense. It's not your like demographic. So I did a lot of research on which upcoming events are going to be like the most popular, my demographic, just everything just related to me, no pun intended. And I saw that the World Series was going on, but you know what? During that time, I didn't know what the weather was going to be like because Philly is all over the place. And we actually didn't know whether the Phillies, you had to book it ahead of time, but I didn't know if the Phillies were going to be in the World Series. So it was all like a waiting game. And I think it was like, the area or their stadium can fit 50,000 people. And that was definitely the most memorable one. I had Ben Verlander tweeting it out. I had the guys at the game that were, batting practice or whatever going on, looking up in the sky. I had people posting it left and right on Twitter. And it was, I think it was game 5. Maybe it was game 3. But the funny story about that is the first day I had it going out. So maybe it was game 3, the first day, and they had a typo. And the typo was onlyfaz.com/Steph Mi.
Oh.
But I went with it. It worked in my favor. I called the guy. I was like, you spelled this wrong. It's been flying. But people knew what it was. They knew. So they were just tweeting like, this girl can't even afford one letter. Saying like, I spelled it wrong on purpose. I didn't know how to spell, whatever. But they were tweeting. Yeah, they were tweeting about it. So it doesn't matter to me because they knew what it meant. They knew what it was supposed to be and people were coming and subscribing and whatever. And so the guy actually gave me another day, the following day, and spelled it right. And they were still tweeting like, she's going back at it. Like it was just all over the place. So yeah, it worked out in my favor. I loved it. I wish I could have another typo type deal, but who knows, maybe there will be one in the future. I do have some things up my sleeve and you guys will probably find out soon. But yeah,
let's go.
Definitely a memorable one.
Typos are kind of the jam, Rip. We should maybe try a typo. Remember when Trump did kofefe and he was trying to say coffee, I think, and it went wild and just like, maybe we should try a typo. Maybe that works in the game. PR geniusness. There's hacks for life, listeners.
Yeah, there's like something coming up this coming weekend. What weekend is it right now?
It's the 1st. It's May Day.
Okay, so yeah, Cinco de Mayo weekend. We have the Derby going on. So there's I think it was 200,000 people that are attending the Kentucky Derby. There's going to be something going on with me there.
There's a reason to go follow Steph Mi right now, free OnlyFans.
So you guys are the first to hear about this. So I don't know when this is coming out, but
yeah,
you guys are the first.
This is what's up too, because this is when Tom Brady is getting loose right now. I think he's trying to become a comedian. He always goes to the Derby with his homies. So maybe you'll run into TB12.
Beautiful.
It's gonna work. It's gonna be genius. I can't wait.
As long as people see what I'm gonna do, then that's all that matters.
Just to follow, is it something that requires you to be there, or you're not even gonna be there?
I don't necessarily have to be there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Little teaser for the.
I may or may not go. We'll see. But yeah, I think a good majority of those people will see what I'm gonna do. So
quality is a quality. That's quality podcasting, right there.
Yeah, and it's like so. It's really really hard to grow OnlyFans if you don't have a following, and then if you're not constantly doing something to promote it or collaborating, just like social media in general, you're not constantly doing something to grow on there, you'll stay stagnant. So you always have to get creative. And I think when a lot of these other girls get into it, they don't know what to do. And they think collaborating with like another girl or doing just more feminine based stuff. I know what my market is. I know men. I know what men want.
Yeah.
So
we're trying to go to baseball stadiums and play golf. I want the listeners to even get to know you even more.
Yeah.
You're from Pittsburgh. Big
Mhm.
Iron City sports fan. The
Mhm.
Steelers have a young quarterback, Kenny Pickett. We like Kenny Pickett here on the
We
show.
do.
The
Oh, we do too.
Pirates are in first place. Yeah, we do too.
First
Pirates are in
place.
first
That's
place, which is
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, let's say that
National
again.
League.
First place. We can say it
Can we
together.
say that one more time?
Yeah, it's crazy. But fun. They got a couple of fun team to watch. What's your favorite sports memory growing up in Pittsburgh?
I don't know. I guess Steelers winning the Super Bowl.
Oh,
However many
Easy.
times. Six.
That's pretty
six.
easy.
I probably wasn't around for the first couple, but yeah, 6 times. So that's a pretty given one. What am I saying right now? Stanley Cup, Penguins.
Penguins.
So let's just hope the Pirates can stay on it. This is insane. The Pirates are first right now. This is insane.
Crazy. I love it that you're into baseball. Baseball needs more girls like you, Steph, out there doing your thing. You're going on stadium tours. You're talking about the Pirates. I think your guy McCutcheon is back. Is that right?
McCutcheon is back. He's killing it. Our city loves him. He gets a standing ovation every single time he is at bat. I mean, like he's amazing and he's great to our people. So, and we just got a guy from the minors. Did you guys see that? 13 years.
Drew,
13 years in the minors. It's insane. I'm happy. I hope he doesn't just play like 1 or 2 games and get sent back down. That would be terrible.
For another 13 years.
I don't know about that, but I'm like, that's cheap press if they did that. I was like, they got a lot of press for that.
Yep.
I'm like, I have no idea. Like, that's like, obviously we know that he's like an anomaly for doing that, like no one ever, I don't know if there's ever been another player that's been in the minors for that long and gets moved up and gets all this attention and, but I do know a lot of guys that love, coming to Pittsburgh or like the A's, for example, because they do get that playing time. So maybe that's what it is, because the lower teams, whatever. But
great story. It's a great story. Everything in Pittsburgh is wonderful.
Story.
I want to buy that man a Primanti's brothers that call it from
Primanti's sandwich.
The best. They put the fries on top of it, Mom. It's a very good sandwich.
Coleslaw, fries, so good.
Yes. Let me tell you what else is interesting about Pittsburgh. I know that one of my favorite golfers, he's only my favorite because I have a friend who has a swing like him, but my guy, Jim Furyk from Pittsburgh, was he some of the reason that you maybe are into golf today? Do you have a little Jim Furyk in your memory?
Honestly, I do not. So I'm going to be really honest here. I don't know who that is.
What?
Because I started golfing about 7-8 months ago. So people are like really, really shocked because I actually am decent for only starting that, short amount of time.
Yes.
And when I first started, I was taking lessons. I still take lessons now. I think I'll forever take lessons just because everything needs always tweak. There's always something. And every professional golfer, athlete, whoever is like, that's the best way to go because you're not starting bad habits or whatever. So what really got me into it is my mother who lives in Korea. And I don't know if you guys know, but Korea is huge on golf, huge, huge, huge. And she would always have conversations with me and like, it'd just be dry because she would just talk about how great her golf game is. And I just there was a disconnect. And I was like, finally, you know what? I'm just going to get into golf because one, it's a classy sport. Like you just can't go wrong with golf. And I would like to see more women get into golf. And yeah, I started picking it up and then I realized I wanted to create a whole show and production around it. And I'm like, I need people to see my journey as a beginner golfer, golfing with guests, golfing with all different kinds of people, whether it's celebrities, ex-athletes, current athletes. I've had all different kinds of people on so far.
Genius. Yeah. I'm a huge golf guy. Congratulations. I wouldn't have guessed 7 months. First of all, I saw your swing on social media. Very, very not 7 months ago. I too am a new adult golfer. I'm about a year and a half in. I moved to Hawaii about 2 years ago and I was just looking for a community of things. And I was like, I can't find my thing. I'm not into scuba diving. Golf's called me and I built this whole community here at Kapalua in West Maui where I golf. I love it. I'm full on addicted. And
so addicting. You can't even I can't stop looking at videos, memes, like everything I do is just golf related.
It's golf related. And you have the talent too. I'm working a little bit more on figuring out where my talent comes in, but I'm a huge golf guy. I played yesterday. So your show, Golf With Me on OFTV, it gives a really unique take on golf. And I think this is great. Women listeners and especially male listeners, because you're going to double love this. You travel around to some of the awesome courses, like you said. Great. What a great idea. It's funny. It's a little R-rated. It's all around good stuff. Did you see a gap in the golf world quickly and you're like, shit, let's go? Was this just like a go-getter? I see a gap, I'm going for it.
Yeah. I mean, for starters, I hope you're inviting me to Hawaii for a game around. We'll have you
Every
on
Monday.
as a guest.
I'm here every Monday. No guest even needed. Cruise through. We'll do it. We'll do a show here.
But yeah, so actually it was kind of like pandemic-ish 2020 when I started seeing like a lot more women posting about golf because everyone that was starting to get interested in golf was posting about golf, and that's all you could really do is outside. It was like secluded. It was, whatever. And so I started kind of really studying on TikTok, like these women are just golfing and things are kind of picking up for the women that were golfers. And there was no other videos about this or anything like that, especially for beginners. And I was like, okay, my mother, I'm going to get that involved. I'm going to get a show going. And when I started taking lessons, I purposely prepped for the show to know etiquette and just different, there's just major etiquette like that. I look back on, I'm like, I can't believe I actually did that. Or, I would never have known anything that I fully prepped. But yeah, I saw a gap in the market and I was like, I need to show women and what men, doesn't matter, both. It's not as intimidating as it seems, because I do know that like my first time on the golf course, I actually golfed with two guy friends of mine, one ex-athlete and the other one was a NFL football player. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why they would ever golf with me as my first time. And I look back, I'm like, praise the Lord, because bless you guys, like I don't know how you golfed with me, because now I look back, I'm like, I had the worst etiquette ever. But yeah, I think like I can show everybody like just different, just terminology, like clubs I use, things that just you wouldn't normally think about whenever you're getting ready to pick up on the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people love it. Now people are messaging me, especially athletes, like, can I like join you on your next like episode? I'm like, really? You want to? Like, as if I should be shocked, but like, it's just crazy that like, now that it's taking off, these athletes actually want to join me in an episode. So I have a lot coming up this coming summer that I'm going to be terribly busy with, but I'm excited.
So amazing. It's so amazing. And it's vulnerable. You're vulnerable on all your social outlets. You're vulnerable in life, and you're vulnerable on the golf course. And that's where people want to bullshit a lot. You know what? Guess what comes out in life? Your golf game when you're golfing with other people. Like you're going to see bad, medium, ugly, sad, happy. I was done yesterday. One par later, I'm back in. It's like I hit a crack, from
yeah.
bottom up. So thank you for being vulnerable and taking us on the ride. I think it's terrific.
Yeah, I always like to like show my candid, most raw moments, and I think that that's another gap in the whole social media world is people are so afraid of showing their unfiltered raw selves, and nobody's relatable anymore. And people always want to just like make this perfect, make that and whatever. And I actually just posted a video yesterday on my stories, and I think on Twitter too. Like someone tossed me a ball to tee off with, and I missed the catch, and I was like, well, and I still posted it just to like show people like I'm a normal human. And I even posted on my stories with Tiger, like he only makes like 20% of his shots on the green, like 1 out of every 5 end up on the green. It's like, so that's Tiger Woods. He's icon, like, so yeah, I think especially for like a female, like, I think it's important to show like, let's just be unfiltered, guys. This is the way life used to be. Let's just show what it's like to be candid and raw and like relatable for once, And
so it's probably the most humbling sport out there. So it allows you, it's easy to be vulnerable. And just a reminder, everyone can find those episodes on OFTV. I got excited because I saw the next episode you have coming out Monday, the 8th, is at the Phoenician Resort in Scottsdale. But I spent 2 beautiful years working as a graveyard valet at the Phoenician in Scottsdale,
our hometown. Wow.
Yeah, and I actually took some late night escort girls to Tiger Woods Casita way before that Perkins waitress stuff dropped. True story.
Oh, you did. That's true. It's true.
So, but that resort is amazing. It's paradise in the city. Beautiful. Can you give our listeners a quick sneak preview of what to expect in that Phoenician episode?
That Phoenician episode, I actually played my first, I gambled my first time playing around, and we played skins, and I was golfing with 2 gentlemen. One has been playing golf for 7 years, and the other one has been playing his entire life. Terrible swing, by the way. He's going to hear this and be like, what the hell? Only because I take lessons, so I'm very proper with my swing, but he still plays amazing golf. And I went in with it saying, yeah, guys, I'm a beginner golfer. So like, I know you guys have been playing it for a while because I do golf. I golf with a scratch golfer. I've golfed with a professional golfer recently. So I like to warn people a little bit because I know it's like to like, I move fast, but I just want them to be well prepared. And they're like, okay, so I think they expected the worst. And they're like, wait a second, we're playing skins here. And how are you beating us right now? So I ended up winning. It was like $7 or something at the end, but because we play like,
what are you making putts? You dropping putts?
I was like everything, like my all of my drives were straight, like my putts. I was making like, I don't know, I'm gonna exaggerate, like 15-foot putts or something like that. And
money's on the line. Stuff is stepping up and just scratch golfer all of a sudden.
That's my goal.
I'm so happy you're only 7 months in. It makes me feel so much better. My favorite golfer right now, currently on the PGA Tour, is a guy from Scottsdale, is Max Homa. He's my swing king. He's my swing icon. Currently, like Tony Finau took home 1.4 milli 2 days ago, beating John Rahm down in the Mexico Open, which looks like a beautiful course, so fun. But check it out. He spent the night caddying for his kids at the local par 3 course. What a good dude.
Tony did?
Finau.
Wow.
Good human alert, Tony Finau. What's your favorite PGA golfer to root for?
Tiger.
Tiger. Tiger people are such Tiger people. It's nuts. If people like Tiger, it's Tiger.
How could you not? The guy is so fucking confident. Listen, like I watched a video and he was like, I could be wrong with the age, but somewhere around like 18, 19, I don't know. He was having an interview and they were asking him if you could ever golf with, they named his like dream golfer. And he was like, how would you feel? Like, do you think you would beat him? He's like, well, I play to win. And ever since then, like, because he always says like, well, like when he gets interviewed, he always says, I am playing to win. Like, what do you mean? Why are you asking me these questions about like, how do you think I'm going to play today? I'm playing to win. And he's the most confident. And that's why he is where he's at, because his confidence is so just on par. Ooh, on par. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. Catch that one. Yeah. I play golf. I tell people like, how did it go playing with your buddy Jake today? I say, oh, the weather was really nice outside. I'm just chilling. I need to get more confident as shit as the lesson for that.
I think that's what helped me whenever I was golfing at the Phoenician is like these guys were so cool too. You have to golf with people that are like, don't have tempers, that can understand and be supportive. If you're golfing with like,
it's a skill set. I think there can be a business out there where you're like, I go out with golf with people and I'm supportive. I don't give over information. I make them laugh a little bit. I think there's a business model in there somewhere, but continue.
For sure. No, I totally agree, because if you're golfing with assholes, you're going to golf like a terrible
experience. Sucks. 4 hours.
Yeah. But yeah, whenever I was golfing, these guys, they were so supportive. And I think I was nervous on the first tee off, and I'm like, wait, I don't actually get nervous. Like, I don't know what's going on. They're like, you're doing great. You have a great swing. You have a better swing than us. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. No worries. I'm fine. And then I played amazing the rest of the time. So,
something I learned here in Hawaii that I'm going to share with you. We started before we tee off at the Bay course here. Well, everybody says something they're grateful for. And it's amazing what it does to your, because I'm nervous every time on the first tee. Every time. Just takes your mind away from it for a second. So that's what it is.
I like that. I might steal that.
It's good. I have one of my dogs just had a UTI. She's good now. No more UTI. I'm grateful for vets that week. And I said it out loud, and then I had a beautiful drive because I'm not thinking about the fucking whatever, so.
What's your favorite club? I see you have your whole set back there. So
it's turning into my putter because I love golf now. But forever when I was not a good golfer, it was all the other shit clubs. But I don't even care. Just now me and my putter are friends because I know this is when scoring happens.
Anytime anyone asks me what my favorite club is, I say my putter, because we should say our putter, because it's the most important club in the bag, I feel like. So like if our putting game is shit, like
You're right. 7-iron is my true love.
I actually like my pitching wedge, but I recently left it at a golf course. I'm like, fuck. And you have to actually buy like a whole new set. I mean, you can't buy like one, like maybe off like Facebook Marketplace or something.
Well, no, or like I'm missing it. I lost a 5-2. We lose. Rip, we're taking over with Golf Talk. Rip, I lost a 5 on the golf course, and then I had to go into my like wife's old club. So now I have this old 5 from 1981. You gotta do better.
Yeah, for sure.
Talking golf, I have you here. I'm gonna settle 2 questions that came up in my golf group chat recently. So 2 main things. Well, okay, our guy Nick B was recently at the Masters in Augusta. He goes every year. Money man, he goes every year. And some of us requested some merch. These guys on TT Trash Talk Boys, a couple other things that we do. We wanted some merch. And then it comes out to me that it's not really that cool to wear golf merch if you haven't played the golf course. So my question to you, Steph, is can you respectfully wear golf course merch without playing said course?
See, the thing with me is I don't really give a shit what anyone thinks. And if I like the course, or if it's been like a dream course of mine, of course I would wear the merch.
Well, here's the thing.
Especially Augusta.
Well,
like, why wouldn't you?
Well, let me give you an example why. And here's what came up. Say I'm at the airport. I'm wearing my, I don't know, what's a great course. I'm wearing my Madison Club in La Quinta thing because my buddy went there, got on with a member, whatever. And someone's like, hey, I'm a member. Have you played there? And I haven't. Then I'm a dummy.
Yeah, but you can always be like, yeah, I haven't played there, but it's part of my goal. So I'm going to wear it, manifest the shit out of this. So
I love it. And you just switched it on him right there. All right, that's good. I'm over it because I was on your team with it. I'm back now. So that answers that question. Second one, I stay steady. I like to golf in the mornings. I stay steady with, I do coffee and a little bit of weed on the golf course. That's kind of my jam. My man Jake does seltzer water and he makes homemade sandos, different type of dude. What's your must have golf snacks? What's coming with you every round?
So I'm all about these like sweet tart ropes, anything with sugar that can give me a quick like sugary spike, but I do drink my Celsius, not sponsored by the way. I love a good Celsius, and I think I'm gonna start like shotgunning Celsius or something because that's how much I love them. I have like a whole load of them in my fridge right now.
Clip it up.
I have yet to drink any alcohol on the golf course. I'm like, I'm scared that I'm gonna waste, because I go to really, really nice, expensive golf courses. You know, it's like $500 a round, you know, like per person. I'm afraid that I'll waste, like if I have like a shot of tequila or something, which is my favorite go-to, I'm afraid it'll make me sloppy. And other people say that it helps them, but I'm afraid like it'll just fuck up my game. And I'm like, I'm not going to waste a whole round on a shot or two of tequila.
Yeah, you'll find your elixirs along the way. You'll find your recipe that works for you to whatever you get to. I know Scotty Scheffler, top player in the world, loves coffee but doesn't drink coffee on the course. Do you go with any coffee ever?
Yeah, because I always golf in the morning, so I need my coffee in the morning. I have it in the morning, and then later towards like the back nine, I'll have Celsius for sure.
All right, well there we go. Enough golf.
See, you've become obsessed. You can't help it.
John Daly drinks coffee, alcohol, and Celsius.
Yeah, he drinks it all. He cigs, all of it.
He smokes those darts. He hits those darts on the course. Rip, I'm going to involve you here because I was looking at Steph's tweets and I saw one. I think it was from March. She had a question about bald people, and I think you can answer it for her. The tweet read, when bald people wash their faces, listeners, Rip is a beautifully bald guy. I think he's been bald for 20 years. When bald people wash their faces, how high up do they go?
Did you get an answer on that yet, Steph? Or...
No one's ever responded to me.
Yeah,
people just laughed at it.
I mean, when you're bald, so it's kind of like one big face, right? So yeah, you don't stop. It's a whole routine. You do the soap on the top of the head, even in the shower. I mean, you're washing your head with
no shampoo, just soap.
You know what? The funny thing is, I do use shampoo because it feels good, even though I don't have any hair. It's the weirdest thing, but I like want to have that feeling of being able to wash my hair.
Feeling, yeah, that freshness of like, I took a shower, and I know I took a shower because I used shampoo.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's not a full shower without washing your hair, you know.
Right, for sure. Well, yeah, for sure.
Even if you don't have any, but it doesn't make any sense. It's a 1-star answer, but that's why we're here. And we end every interview with a segment we call 1 star to 5 star. We're the 1 stars. We're trying to get better with advice and tips from every guest we have on this podcast, like yourself. So just a few questions here that run the gamut on a 1 to 5 star scale, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest.
Okay.
Mother's Day is coming up in a week or so here. We got flowers, chocolates, jewelry. There are all kinds of gifts out there. What's the 5-star Mother's Day gift in your eyes?
A baseball game. Home plate baseball game.
Even if it's at a Diamondbacks game. What if it's at a Diamondbacks game?
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. Baseball. I mean, sports. I mean, like mostly baseball. I'm obsessed more so with baseball and golf than any other sport. But yeah.
Pirates, D-backs.
You know, it just, it feels relaxing or something. I don't know.
How about shout out to your mom in Korea? What about for her? What's her 5-star gift?
Probably something golf related. But she's been fitted for her clubs because she's short. She's like a midget. She's like 5 foot. I'd probably get her like a rangefinder or like some golf Titleist Pro V1s golf balls. There we go.
That's a nice gift.
That Riviera merch. Get her some merch from Riviera.
There we go. Yeah, I could do that.
All right, from 5-star to 1-star, we do 1-star moments of the week on this show. Something that happened to us in the past week that was not the greatest thing you could ever imagine. I sprained my ankle playing basketball. DK recently did a silent but deadly morning fart on a Southwest flight that just had heads turning everywhere. The 1-star moments. I've never asked a guest before, though. What's something that happened to you over the past week or so that was a 1-star moment for you that you can think of?
So honestly, I just recently took it off. I was wearing a brace. I don't know if you guys have seen the post. I thought I fractured what's called a scaphoid fracture. It's like the little tiny bone in your wrist right here. It's like one of the worst fractures you could possibly have because you're down for like a year, like wearing a cast for a year and possible surgery. The tiny bone that can basically like just die on its own. It's crazy. But actually it turns into a 5-star thing. I ended up getting an MRI like a few days ago, and it's just a tendon. And I got a cortisone shot. And if all goes well, it should be fine. If it comes back in 6 months, then I'll need surgery on my tendon. But so that could be the 1-star of it. But 5-star, I turned it into 5-star. I always turn things into positives.
Golf with Me would be in trouble if
I thought it was shut down for a little bit. So, I have like 5 episodes getting ready to launch, in these next 5 weeks, but I was like, I'm going to have to hold off on the episodes. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to putt. I'm going to have to I don't know what I'm going to do. Just do a putting challenge. I don't know. So yeah, that was like in the back of my head. It was stressing me out a little bit because that's like, my main thing right now, is my Golf with Me.
Yeah, you got to protect those hands.
Yes.
The Yu Darvish
out of all things, had it been my wrist, I'm like, maybe I could golf with like a bad foot or something, but like my wrist, like.
Yeah, prayers up for Steph's scaphoid.
Yeah. Look it up later.
All right, last one. I need you to settle something for us because we don't, like we said, we don't get too many females on the show. So I want to get your perspective on it. DK is a huge beard guy. He doesn't have a big one now, but he's had all kinds of different beards. Me, on the other hand, I can't even grow a beard, so I hate them. I think they're overrated. On a scale of 1 to 5 stars, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, what do you think about beards? Because I kind of feel like it was an early 2000s thing, to be honest.
I think it was. I hung around Dan Bilzerian a lot, and I hated his beard. Not that anything ever happened, but like I'm just saying, like I think his beard's disgusting, and I'm like, what do people think is so attractive about him? And I grew up in a very military style family, so no one really had beards or facial hair. So I don't think your beard's disgusting, your facial hair or anything like that, just that guy specifically. But I am the opposite of most women in a lot of things, and I'm going to go clean shaven. I just think it looks just classy. I'm a big like 60s, 50s, 60s kind of girl. Like I love that like clean shaven look. It looks more classy and professional to me. Especially like a guy in uniform, sports and stuff when they're clean shaven. I'm like, that looks good.
There it is. 2023 Rip is clean shaven. Yeah, the beards. I'm starting to gray. My beard's starting to gray, so I think I'm out of the beard game pretty soon. But love to guys with not good chins because
yes, I have seen guys that have these massive beards and then shave, and I'm like, oh, you should really grow that back. So there's guys that are meant to have beards for sure, because you're like, wait, why do you have a big beard? And then you see them shaved, you're like, that's why. So I'm sure the majority of them grew it originally because like they have just bad bone structure. But guys that have great jaw lines, chiseled faces, like shave that shit for sure.
Yeah, let it fly. If you got it, rock it. It's the name of the game. Everybody go follow Steph. How cool. At Steph Mi on Instagram. That's at STEPHMI on Instagram. Steph Mi on OnlyFans. Golf with Me on OFTV, which is at the Phoenician next week. So Arizona listeners, Nick B, give her the follow. Get on OFTV and get the show. You're everywhere. Happy Mother's Day. You're doing such a great job of life and being a mom.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For coming on the One Star Recruits.
Thanks for having me, guys. You guys are amazing.
Steph Mi, good times were had. Rip, we dominated that with some golf talk. I'm going to mix a little golf talk into my 1-star moment of the week at the end of the podcast. But is golf taking over? I'm sensing that golf is having a moment in time, a frozen yogurt moment, a White Lotus TV show moment, golf in general. It's kind of really cool to golf. Am I just sensing that because I'm on the inside and I'm addicted, or do you see that from the outside looking in?
I think it's because you're on the inside. I remember like a 5-year period where everyone was trying to force soccer down our throats, and it took for a while, but and fanship across the US grew a little bit, but I kind of feel like that's going on with golf right now. I mean, the people who aren't into golf aren't going to be into golf just because there's a reality show and hot women like Steph Mi are doing shows about it. But if you're really into golf and you're golfing every day, you're going to be into golf. But if you're not, like me, I'm not going to get into golf because of any of this stuff going on.
Yeah, you're not buying into it. It's not even like you can see it on the horizon. Like if you were going to buy stock in a sport, golf's not right up there right now with probably F1 racing. I would throw. I know women's soccer is getting really big. I don't know a lot about it, but I see there's new teams popping up every year and they seem to be doing really well. Are you buying any stock in golf as the next generation sport or not? You're punting on it.
Maybe a little. I mean, I think it's one with some potential for sure, but honestly, I'm keeping my stock in probably one of the highest price stocks right now, and it's the NBA. I mean, this thing just keeps getting better. There's never a shortage of new guys coming in with great personalities and great social media acumen and all that stuff. But I think the NBA is only getting better, DK. I mean, look at these playoffs already. Probably one of the best in years.
Yeah. Let's stay there for a minute. People seem to like last episode at the end. I did a fire round with you of randomness. I'll try that again. And so I want to mix some sports stuff in there. And you can ask me anything that comes along too, Rip. Let's start with the NBA because I agree with you. It doesn't even get enough talk. I'm still on other podcasts having conversations about is the NHL better? And we'll get there. Let's start, Rip, with you. Just mental highlights overall. Game 7, Warriors series win over the Kings. What taste is in your mouth now?
Steph is one of the greatest of all time. You're hearing stories trickle out about the speech he gave in the locker room because Steph is not really a big talker, but it's one of those things I feel like you're going to see on a 30 for 30 in like 20 years, 10 years is after his career is over. And I mean, especially if they go on to somehow win the championship, but yeah, just a legend, man. And he's still the best player in the game. There's the MVP vote is coming out tonight. He's not even in it, but he's still the best player in the game.
Yep, that's a big takeaway. Steph is the biggest takeaway. For me, it's Steph combined with mentally strong veteran team that's focused on team. Clay had a terrible game. Didn't care one iota because he knew he's been there. He knows the kind of the whole. This is what happens if teams win over time. You don't get scared in these situations. I think I'm selling some stock in Sabonis. He didn't really show up. I think Draymond did what Draymond does and shut some of these guys down. Very excited, though, about the future of Trey Lyles. They have some other rookie shooters in Sacramento I like. They could use some pieces. I mentioned Dylan Brooks. He might not be a bad piece there just to give them a little bit more edge. But great series. Excited to see the Warriors. Excited to see Steph versus LeBron moving forward. What else do I have, Rip?
Just an asterisk right there. I think it was 4 years ago, the Kings took Marvin Bagley over Luka. Could you imagine if they just would have taken Luka? That's check with Winston on that, but I believe that's accurate. Correct?
No, that's accurate. I think that's accurate, and it's probably
Marvin Bagley. They moved him after 2 years to the Pistons. He's like a bench player for the Pistons. Luka, obviously, like top 5 player in the game. If they had Luka in the series, I mean, who knows?
Possibly. I mean, it's still. I think still Steph Curry and his performance will kept that dynasty alive. I think it would have no matter really who was on that team. He snuffed out the beam. Nobody gives a fuck about the beam. That was my favorite part. He told them to fucking light the beam now. So epic. But great series. On to another great series. And we don't talk about this much, but I want to shout out our guy Seymour. His team, the Avalanche, took a tough Game 7 loss in the NHL. A lot of the best teams in the NHL went long series early and took big losses, including the Boston Bruins, who had a historic season. They basically had the Warriors 2015 season, like 75-win season, came to a disappointing end. Rip, thoughts on the NHL and huge upsets in Game 7s?
I was trying to go through the logic of it with my son because he tells me the NHL standings like every morning, and it's Boston Bruins with 65-15 or whatever, the best record in NHL history. How does a team like that lose in the first round? And the only answer is that's sports for you. It can happen. Anything can happen. We saw it just now. We've seen it in the NBA with 8s over 1s, fairly often. And That's just sports, DK. Anything could happen. That's why we love sports.
That's why we love sports. I also want to reemphasize team. Once again, team over. There's no I in team. That guy Pasternak, he's not the whole Boston Bruins. You have to play as a unit. It's kind of a life lesson. Use your unit. But fun stuff. I give it. I've been loving it. NHL, I bow down. Also, NBA, NHL, excellent playoffs. Probably the best playoffs when you get into the way it's shown, the way that it gets down, and the way that the parity usually gets deeper to game sevens. Excellent stuff. Continuing on, Rip, go ahead. I'm going to pass the mic right to you. An early 2024 mock draft. I know we just had the NFL draft. Cardinals fans, I just want to prepare you for what Rip's about to say next. Rip, an early 2024 NFL mock draft has been released. Go ahead, sir.
The first thing I thought of when we made that trade with the Houston Texans is, holy shit, the Cardinals could have 2 top 5 picks next year. I texted it to our group text because I know the Cardinals are going to be terrible. Houston did great in the draft. They got CJ Stroud and Will Anderson, but they're not going to be good either, DK. I've been eyeing 2 top 5 picks in 2024 for the Cardinals. Dane Brugler, who's the Athletics big NFL draft guru, he came out with a way too early 2024 NFL draft today. He has the Cardinals with the top 2 picks, DK. He has them taken number 1 with their own. He's saying the Cardinals will have the worst record in the NFL, which is not out of the realm of possibility. He has them taken Caleb Williams from USC.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler Murray will be on, I believe, his last contract year. And you cannot pass up Caleb Williams. You have number 1. He has him number 2 taking Marvin Harrison Jr. from Ohio State. This is what we're hoping for, DK. It was the best thing I've seen all week, all month, and all year so far. I am crossing my fingers. That's what I want to happen for the Cardinals in the next draft, DK. We need it.
Holy shit. Exactly. This is the good news we need to speak on and move forward in our mind. So we have a plan. This is the type of shit though in Phoenix when the Cardinals are going to come out and go 8-8 and fuck this all up for us. But I love it. I think this is the right move. I think if I'm looking ahead, I can now see the vision, Cardinals fans, and it had to be brought up. I'm glad we got to bring it up in this situation on this podcast. Let's wrap up our sports fire round, Rip. How do I say it? The Phoenix Suns offense is living in the past, pretty much is where I'm at. They maybe think they can do the same things that they did when they had shooters all over the place and Chris Paul was younger and DeAndre Ayton had less money possibly and cared more, but we're living in the past a little bit. What needs to change for the Phoenix Suns, who are down 0-2 to the Denver Nuggets, who are also not playing incredibly well, but seem to want it more? What needs to change, Rip, for this thing to turn around for the Phoenix Suns?
We can analyze this thing and break it down like crazy, but really, DK, it's simple. It's you got to make shots. That's it. I mean, Denver did what they were supposed to do. They won their 2 games at home. To me, you can't judge or analyze a series too much until at least 3, maybe 4 games in. If the Suns go back to Phoenix and win those 2 like they should and just make more of their shots, you go back to Denver tied 2-2 with all the momentum. So I'm Mr. Optimistic, Mr. Positive here. You know, Chris Paul got his annual playoff injury, which who knows, he might try to play Friday or not, but it's not a huge deal. Like I said, if KD makes 5 more of his shots, the Suns win. That's it. I mean, he was like 2 for 12 on threes. That's not KD right there. If he's just his normal self, we win that game.
And listeners know I've been talking about this since the playoffs started. We are in trouble when we go to the bench. We're in trouble when Chris Paul's playing at this age, to be honest. Now we're in more trouble. How many bad shots did Cameron Payne take late in the game, in game 2? I saw 3 threes from the corner that I don't even think they hit the rim. I think they just hit the side of the backboard. That man needs to be stopped. He needs to be stopped. And the way to do that for me is to put the ball, exactly, Rip, in KD's hands. Let's move Booker off ball. Let's get the ball in KD's hands to get the offense going. And DeAndre Ayton, get angry at some point in time. Maybe it's this podcast. If anybody knows DeAndre wants to send it to him, we love you, man. We support you. You have everything in your bag, in your skill set to win this series. I think we know what Jokic can do, and you can also do it. You can do it. You have the skill set, man. So we believe in you. Hopefully he shows up, Rip. That's what I have. That's my moment of zen with DeAndre. He's the X factor in this series here. Moving forward for me.
I got one for you because we talked mostly in that interview with Steph about golf. You're a big golf guy. Everybody knows it, but you're not necessarily a Tiger guy. I do have a question though, because I didn't want to get into it with Steph. I never want to get into it with Tiger people, but there are so many Tiger people out there. The guy hasn't won a tournament in years. I feel like when people bring up that their favorite golfer is Tiger, that it's like me saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan." Like you're living in the past. Like I hate hearing it, but there's so many people that are Tiger loyalists, even though the guy never wins, he barely makes the cut anymore, and they think he's going to somehow get back to what he was. How much longer do we have to hear people say they're huge Tiger fans, DK, before it stops? I want it to stop. I can't take it anymore.
Sorry, bro. You're in it forever. It's a forever thing. And unfortunately, it's the same reason that the McDonald's French fries won a very large food bracket we did a couple months ago. It's beyond the French fries. It's beyond Tiger. It goes back to eclecticness, to rooting for him in a certain situation, sitting with your grandparents in a certain room where you can smell, Marlboro lights being smoked inside the house with all the doors closed. And that's the moment you realize that you love Tiger Woods because he did something amazing. I think it's bigger than that. And I think there's only a handful of guys on the list. I think it's guys like Arnold Palmer. His generation is always going to talk about him no matter what. How many other golfers in his generation are going to be talked about? Jack Nicklaus, he's the next man up. Then you have a mismatch of kind of, Tom Watson you can throw in there. Maybe there's a little Jim Furyk. I threw out Jim Furyk. Unfortunately, Steph didn't even know who he was, but for a while he was a legend. But there was no pure legend until Mr. Woods came around, and he brought this generation in now who's now addicted, who I think you should buy a shitload of stock in, because I think golf's the next. It's already big. I think it's going to become more accessible down the line, and it's the next big thing. So Rip, unfortunately, he's on the Mount Rushmore of golf guys who you're going to hear about it from everybody, because he's the French fries of golf. It's bigger than just Tiger Woods. It's the reason they started liking the sport. It's the reason they have a relationship with their parents. So the first time they ever did X somewhere with somebody, Tiger Woods might have been a part of it. So there you go. It's my long way of saying you're stuck with it, bro.
I don't like it. There's so many young guys to root for. Max Homa, John Rahm, our guy Tom Kim. I mean, it's like, take one of these guys, especially Steph, who just got into golf 7 months ago. Come on, you can't pick Tiger as your favorite guy. The guy hasn't won anything in years.
Well, that's true, bro. That's true. I'm not a Tiger guy. I like the new guys, but you got to win, and you got to do amazing shit along the way to win. 1-star moments of the week. Once I probably was the answer to that question you just did, because I felt like I just did 2 minutes on maybe not even making any sense. Nick B style, Rip. I'm gonna keep it with golf. Fuck it for my 1-star moment of the week, listeners. Every week we come out. Steph did one this week. We talk about things that were not great for us this week. I'll keep it with a golf theme for me. First time ever this happened for me. Never has happened in my life. I've probably done about 40 or 50 golf rounds in the last year and a half. So it's a lot with these particular clubs. But hole 10, I'm at the Kapalua Bay course. It's kind of a tough par 4, but if you get a good drive, it's birdieable. And I hit a wonderful drive, maybe one of my best drives I've ever hit on this particular hole. It went right on top of a little mesa top, a little tabletop right on the right fairway. There's a mini rock basin, Rip, in the middle of this hole. And usually I find my way into this rock basin, and I usually fuck this hole up. Nevertheless, I had it right up looking down on a nice, big, beautiful green, probably about 145 yards. It's a shot I can make. I take out my 8-iron. Not my favorite club, but a club that I really do love. Take a good swing, about 90%. Nice, pure swing. Make good contact. Boom. My 8-iron explodes in my hands. Blows up. Head goes flying. Ball flies right in short. It goes right in the fucking basin. I ended up getting a triple bogey on the hole, a 7. And my 8 was done. I've never had a club fully break like that on me before. In golf and the swing. So extremely 1-star moment. And that leads into even the follow-up. My current bag now, I have no 8. I lost my 5. So I'm playing with, I think, a 5 from when I was maybe 9 years old. It's probably the club I think is from 1981. I have no 5. And I have only one driver now that doesn't have a complete loose head. So I'm 1-star golfer, bro. And it's time for me to probably go to Costco, like my boy Nick B, and get those Costco Kirkland irons, because dude, I can't be having clubs explode on these golf courses, and I'm trying to invite people out for it. It's a very bad look. So bad golf etiquette, 1 star by me. How about you?
It sounds like a 1-star like gender reveal. Like your club explodes and you want pink or blue to come out, and then yeah, man, you're like a third baseman going out there without a cup to protect his nuts and like some buttons unbuttoned on his jersey. You have 2 clubs missing. How can you possibly golf?
2 clubs. I felt exposed too. Everybody wanted to see the club. They like it, and I felt like I had pine tar on my club. So they looked at it. It looks like the inside of my club is made of wood, and termites were eating it. So I don't even understand how I was. And everybody's like, "Oh, it looks like you have like really old shitty clubs." I felt like they found pine tar or a corked bat in my clubs, but in a very embarrassing way. Like oh, you just rubbed some shit on your bat, and then somebody found out that you did that. Like an embarrassing thing. So 1 star moment.
That's a great 1-star moment of the week. I love it. I wish I would have been there. Mine actually involves sports too. And I feel like this is just getting redundant because it happens like twice a year. Every time I go try to play pickup sports, about 4 months ago, I played my first softball game in 10 years and immediately pulled my groin running around the bases. So I'm out for like a month. So my buddy through coaching Little League invited me to come play pickup basketball last Thursday. And, I've been shooting in the driveway with my kid every day. So I been telling everyone my shot's getting a little better. Anyway, I lasted 2.5 games to 11 before I came down hard on my right ankle and rolled it pretty bad. I can't get out of my own way. I always get hurt no matter what. I try to play. It's like I don't have a level to throttle it down, so I'm always going 100. So I always get hurt, DK, and I'm getting old, man. I'm in my mid 40s. Everyone else is out there too. I'm running around like a banshee and jumping all different kind of directions. I just don't know how to harness it. So yeah, I'm out for a while, man. I'm probably gonna be out for about 2 months on that thing.
It's time to focus down on your new job and on this podcast, baby. It's time to get some office time and get that ankle healed up, man. People are relying on you, Rip. The Trash Talk Boys are expecting you to book a high level adult film star on their podcast in the near future, Rip. So don't let them down. Let's turn this negative into a positive.
I got to do it, man. Yeah, you're right. Priorities.
Well, people let's quickly do our Rex of the week, and then we're going to hit the music, and then I'm going to do a fire round with you of some current events here to wrap up the pod, because that seemed to work well. And since we don't have our guy Nick on, we'll hit the music and we'll throw them at you. Rec of the week for me, listeners, we just do a recommendation, very basic stuff, but very helpful. Usually Rips more than mine. I think mine this week might be competitive. Possibly. My 1 star recommendation of the week. Get ready to write this down. If you're sitting at your cubicle at work right now and just want to smile and be prepared, just agree whatever I'm about to tell you, you're going to go do next. If you're driving around in your truck, do what I'm about to say, and it will make you very happy. Go to your local Ace Hardware. Buy something you need for your house. You always need something at Ace Hardware. If you don't need anything, just buy some toilet paper. Get your ass in that Ace Hardware checkout aisle and enjoy. Release your soul. Release your inhibitions. For me, I'm going to get the Australian strawberry licorice. I'm going to get the big bag of Dots pretzels. And I'm going to get the black licorice versions of the Jelly Bellies mixed in with some black licorice sprinkled things in there that are very delicious that you can't find at every checkout aisle. And most places don't even have the balls, the moxie to carry black licorice, Jelly Bellies. Ace Hardware, checkout aisle fucking does. Go today on your work break. That's my rec of the week.
You just lost half the listenership. Hates black licorice and anything associated with it, but the other half is licking their lips right now. So, all right, you 50-50.
Hey, your mother-in-law, Nick B's parents, lots of people in our black licorice crew. And I hopefully just inspired you to have a fabulous afternoon. You can get a lot of things in there, Rich. They have stress ball relievers. You can get yourself a new hose faucet for your faucet. You can get a couple different dog toys. You can get any kind of mask that you want, anything you want.
I love it, man. I'm a pro black licorice. And yeah, Ace Hardware, Christmas ornaments, like at Christmas time, all kinds of hidden gems at Ace, DK. Locally owned usually too. So good stuff.
There it is. How about yours, bro? What do you got? A quick rec? You've been watching TV?
I've been watching a little TV, but mine is more of like a time management organization thing, because everyone knows that as work has kind of shifted to remote over the past few years, that we got people working all hours of the day. Sometimes I'll do something at 10:30 at night before I'm about to go to bed. I recently discovered within the last probably 3 to 6 months, and it changed everything for me. It's the ability to be able to schedule emails when you send them. I actually trying to book someone for One Star. I was emailing late at night before I went to bed. I had a publicist reach back out to me and said, "Why do you always email me at crazy hours?" Because it's like 2 a.m. on the East Coast when I'm sending these emails. So there's a function in Outlook. You can schedule when to send an email. And you can also do it in Slack. A lot of people use Slack in their workplaces. You can schedule when to send messages. I used that last night. I did something at 11 o'clock. I scheduled it to send for 6 a.m. this morning. So not only do people not know you're working late, which is fine, but they think you're up early. Early bird gets the worm. So I've been doing that. I have probably 5 emails scheduled to send right now to book guests on One Star tomorrow, because I have like reminders set and everything. But it's really, like I said, a time management organization thing. The only one thing I wish, maybe there's an app for this, if someone can let us know, to schedule texts to be sent, because I don't know if there's a way to do it on iPhone, but if there is, throw it out there, because I'd love to use it. But scheduling emails and texts, DK, it's huge.
All right. Helpful. That's what we're doing on this podcast. Big shout out to Steph Mi for joining us. Very fun. OnlyFans, amazing place. If you want to, what's happening there. It's becoming just a creator's place where they can be a little bit more free. Maybe the next level of YouTube. So I think anything you have in your head of OnlyFans being a place of sex and misbehaving might be wrong, might be worth checking out and seeing if there's something in there that gets you going, Rip. You never know. There's a couple of listeners out there that probably just want to go check out a show. There's probably a couple of listeners that probably want some panties sent to them. Do you live your life? You know what I mean?
I've been trying to get listener John Buckley in Phoenix to start his own OnlyFans for years now. Maybe the One Star, maybe an OnlyFans One Star recruits is in the cards, DK. Who knows?
I don't know about that, but you never know. You never know. We are down, and we're going to keep coming every single week. Rip, hit the music. I'm going to throw a couple hitters at you just for your quick thoughts on them that are happening in the world. I appreciate you. Great job this week. We're back on track with our guest. It's May. If you enjoyed this, send it along. Send to anybody else who might be playing golf. Any women in your life who might be starting off to play golf, who want to take the ride with Steph Mi. I think it's worth sending on. If you want to hear Rip's thoughts on quick triggered modern news events, thoughts on the Writers Guild of America officially on strike.
I didn't even hear about it, but I feel like this comes up every 2 to 3 years. I'm over it. I could care less, to be honest. There's always writers out there who are going to cross those picket lines and be hungry to get some work. So I'm over it. Reach an agreement at this point.
Reach an agreement. I guess big people getting hit hard are the late night TV shows. They do not write their own shit, listeners. That is 10 writers in the back room. Aerosmith announces final tour. Are you going to be there, Rip?
That feels to me like wanting to watch Tiger Woods, not make the cut. Aerosmith is 20, 30 years ago. I'm off on it. I have no interest, DK. Give me, tell me about something I want to see.
Get this man, Kenny Urlacher commits to Notre Dame.
Brian Urlacher's son?
Son of Brian Urlacher.
Wow, that makes me feel extremely old, DK.
Makes me feel old. Last one, Rip. What exactly is the Detroit Lions plan?
They are planning to see if Jared Goff doesn't implode and see if he takes a leap. And if not, Hendon Hooker will be the Lions starting quarterback in 2024, DK. You heard it here first. Phoenix Suns, get it together. One Star recruits. We'll see you next week. Have the best week ever. Later. See you next week.